Howdy, folks. We have an awesome episode for you here today where we are talking with Sound Monk Studios, who was so generous as to provide a few samples of the work that they do. So, buckle up for an awesome musical kind of interview. Enjoy. Welcome to T. Lokes, Tucson's local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and in each episode, we embark on a journey to connect with the passionate minds behind the businesses and nonprofits that make our community thrive. Join me as I sit down with the owners, visionaries, and change makers who pour their hearts into shaping the local landscape. We explore the challenges, triumphs, and unique journeys that define Tucson's business community. From the corner coffee shop to the innovative startups and impactful nonprofits, T. Lokes is your window into the diverse stories that make our city special. Tune in and get ready to get connected. This is T. Lokes. Howdy, folks. Welcome to T. Lokes, your Tucson local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and here with me in the studio today is the founder, owner, and operator of Sound Monk Studios, based here in Tucson, Arizona. It is my pleasure to introduce to the show the composer of our T. Lokes anthem and good friend, Louie Sanders. Louie, my man, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Glad to
thank-
be here, excited to be here.
I'm
Thank you
super
for
excited.
having me on.
Of course. I'm just interrupting each other. That's how exciting it is. I'm super happy to have you on the show. Thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And thank you so much for making such an awesome theme.
Oh, yeah.
I love our theme. You make good music. But let's talk more about Sound Monk Studios. So tell me about Sound Monk. What's your mission? What set you on it? Kind of what guided you here?
So Sound Monk Studios offers professional mixing, mastering for artists who need their stuff cleaned up to a professional level. We make it easy and simple to take the creative music production step and take it to the finish line by polishing it up, make it broadcast quality, streaming ready, and transferable to any platform you really want to take it to and transfer it with. Sound Monk Studios has been the long evolution of my passion in music. Music has always been a theme in my life. Sound specifically, from boys choir to the advent of GarageBand and DAWs in the early 2000s. Logic rolling into that in high school. When I went to college, there was mainly performance arts. And although that side of music was very interesting to me, I found myself more interested in the technical side, the engineering side, setting stuff up. How do you hear and achieve the sounds that you hear on those records? Because it's much different than a man standing with a guitar or a person or a woman singing. So what's that link? And that curiosity always drove me further. So while in college, I found CRAS, the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences, and decided that's what would take me to my next step. Finished up at the U of A with a degree in Arts, Entertainment, and Media, and then pursued my studies at CRAS, where afterwards I interned in LA, and it took me into a larger scope, got some real world experience working for a post-production studio in Burbank, California. It mainly focused in Latin and Latin dubbing for large projects, A&E, HBO, Netflix, but we'd do the Latin American dubbing and send it back to them. And so learning about studio etiquette, voiceovers, ADR, client sessions, setting up for sessions, and industry experience was huge until COVID hit and had to bring me back home. And since then, I've been continuing with my education, self-education, but primarily recording local artists, helping them to get on their way while advancing my own technical skills and abilities. Since being back in COVID, I've worked a couple of odd jobs where I met you.
Yep.
But seeing others pursue, independence and their goals made it seem like I could do this. And with the experience and the technical background I had, it was a matter of putting everything together. So these past couple of years have been bringing that vision and all the themes of music and the experiences I've had along the way to act as an assister, if you will, between the creative and the musicians and all those who want to get it out but don't have that link. So it's my hope to bring a service that can elevate and bring life into people's work while respecting and honoring their craft and making everybody happy and given more creativity to the world. So yeah, and long or in short, that's my kind of beginning and origin story.
No, that's great. And I mean, obviously it's so clear that music has been a big part of your life, and it's a big step to, start your own business or like be the freelancer that you want to be and gain that independence. So that's a huge step. And it seems like you're super well geared to do what you do.
Yeah.
You've made a lot of killer tracks, listening to your band, Two Guys from Work. Like, you guys have great sound. Not to mention the multiple podcast themes that you have made that I've been able to offer to clients and also to use for myself. You produce solid work, and it's very clear that like you're passionate about the sound quality, and super grateful. Also really helpful to like have your insights. I mean, me doing this, like I'm pretty much a self-taught audio guy. Like I haven't gone to any school. So definitely having you as a touchstone when I'm like, hey, something's wrong with this file. What's going on? It's invaluable to get your expertise. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And you're welcome. Yeah, thank you for that.
Of course. So you said that you do some mixing and mastering. Can you tell me more about these services or what other services you also provide?
Yeah, so Soundmonk Studios principally offers mixing and mastering from a point of taking any said work, importing them files via multi-track, cleaning them up, equalizing dynamics, stereo processing, imaging, and mixing them to a quality where everything translates via different devices, your iPhone, your laptop, the streaming. So you have a strong, solid, balanced mix. The point of Soundmonk and mixing in general isn't music production. The song where it's not our job to come in and reconstruct what you've already made or your sound. We're only here to help elevate, bring stuff to life, make stuff shimmer a bit more, bring a balance to your overall vision without diminishing, taking away from your true artistic goal. That's the meat of what Soundmonk Studios is. As I mentioned, I work with some local artists, you being one, for composition. We do work for hire stuff, so commission-based stuff, but also recording. Two Guys from Work, another my bandmate and a guy I met from work, actually, who we formed this band. We do everything from the recording to mixing to mastering, and we do that together. So using analog gear, different recording methods, usually starts with a jam session. So from start to finish, we could do everything. Start a song and get it to a broadcast professional quality that when you turn it on, you say, I get it. It's a song. I can hear it and it translates. The beautiful thing about mixing and mastering and music in general is it's subjective. So based off the stuff you hear, you might love the way stuff is mixed or you might hate it. And that's the beautiful thing about music. It's also what makes listening to different songs so great, because every single song is mixed and mastered completely different. The ways the mics were set up, the way the room orientation, how people were feeling that day, everything is unique with it. So all we can do is make your subjective vision brighter and bring it to life. It's not our job to correct or reinvent anything. So as I said, we act as an assister. We very much so help to keep intact, give the basic technical principles that is needed for industry standards, and get you out on your way to promote and get that wherever you need to in this world and share it with whoever you want. But we are a one-stop shop to get you in and out easily for balanced mixes and on your way.
Awesome. So you really offer this kind of dynamic and custom sort of service depending on what your client is needing. And I'm curious, what is someone out there like experiencing? What is that artist or other business owner experiencing that indicates they should reach out to you?
Right, that's a great question. So our services are best for those who don't have the ability to mix and master their work, but yet want to get it to that next final stage. We can help you by offering experience, analog gear, hardware, techniques, and time and passion to take your vision to the next step, but primarily it's geared towards those who are at a lack per se of the instruments or tools that they need to bridge that gap. We are looking for anyone who has a creative project that is at that bridge and can't gap it themselves. We offer various tiers and affordable prices to meet various projects.
Right.
And each project that is taken on, there's a beginning conversation of what the vision is, what we're doing here, the
Right.
boundaries and the scope of work that would like to be achieved here.
Totally.
So it's not quite a cookie cutter mold for each one. What
Right.
is cookie cutter, I would say, is the sonic principles and the technicality of bringing the sonic theory and the nature of sound to an elevated broadcast industry standard. Everything else is what can we do to make your dream, vision, idea come to life. So if you feel like you have a project finished, you've recorded it, you just don't have someone to mix it, or your chops aren't quite there yet, or you'd like to expedite the process between being done with your project and streamlining it and getting it out onto a platform or sharing it with the world,
Right.
that's who we are there for. And there's no one caliber of musician either. Single, two multi-tracks, vocal and a musician, or if you want to have a 9-piece classic band or a big band or whatever, we will tackle it, figure it out, and make sure that everyone is satisfied with the business experience, but most importantly, the sonic outcome of what you've submitted and what you're walking home with. So
Nice. Okay, so that's pretty variable. Like you'll work with people from like different genres.
correct.
Really. Do you feel like there's a genre like you specialize in?
I would have to say that I specialize might be too strong, but definitely passion and geared towards is more like alt rock,
Yeah.
kind of indie punk. It's probably the 90s baby in me.
Yeah.
But it also kind of encapsulates the taking a different path, you know?
Yeah.
There is no one right way to do it. So you have an idea, we'll work to make it come to life, but I'm not going to apply a certain hat on you that I would apply on a certain artist. That makes
Yeah.
no sense. So there are some fundamental basics that we need to check, but besides that, it's about continuing the creativity and
Nice.
not diminishing it in any way along the process.
Right, right. Howdy, listener. Are you also a podcaster seeking to stand out in the crowded audio landscape? I'm here to help. L. Connor Voice, LLC, offers top-tier audio engineering, meticulous content management, and more, all tailored to save you time and elevate your podcast to new heights of professionalism. With L. Connor Voice, you can focus on what you do best, creating captivating content, while I handle the rest. Say goodbye to hours spent tweaking audio levels and managing uploads. I ensure your podcast shines with polished sound quality and seamless delivery. Ready to take your podcast to the next level? Contact L. Connor Voice, LLC today and make producing your podcast as easy as hitting record. For more information, go to lconnorvoice.com. Links are in the episode notes. And I had a thought based on something you said earlier, talking about mixing and mastering things for like different applications. Because I've definitely I encountered this in my adventures, but like, I remember mixing and mastering a podcast that like in my earphones sounded great. You put it in a car, horrible. It's like super quiet and like not balanced, and you can really tell that like the voices like weren't mixed and mastered right. Um, it's a very valuable skill to be able to make your content be versatile enough to really land in any sort of medium, whether that be, your speakers at the beach, your speakers in the car, or the speakers in your ears. So yeah, maybe like I could see if someone was having some issue like that, right? Like your music sounds great in your earbuds, but it doesn't sound great in your car. Reach out to Louie, reach out to SoundMonk Studios.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And I think some of that, just to piggyback off, comes with the experience of in LA too. The business oriented mindset of it, that there's deadlines, there's stuff to be hit, there's a quality and a specific specification to be met, and that someone is requesting this, and this is the service we offer. So the professionality, the like you said, the know-how, the technical sound, the acoustic treatment, what goes into giving that.
Yeah.
A lot of it, I think, comes from my experience in working in an industry that is fast moving, is always going, and there's stuff going,
Yeah.
and people are watching stuff on their phone, people are watching stuff in their car,
Right.
so it needs to translate and it needs to work every time.
Right.
And I think you're totally right. Sometimes you mix something, you take it to the car, and it just doesn't hit. So there's some technical stuff in there that definitely we can help you with and achieve, so that anyone you show it to, any platform you put it on, you're getting that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, especially for like a new artist or someone who's really trying to get their art out there, it's so impactful. That's a huge help. So maybe shifting gears like ever so slightly, I know that I have commissioned you for some composed pieces. Is that something that you would offer someone else? Like, let's say there's a business who needs a jingle or is looking for something like that, a good track to put to their commercials. Is that something you'd be interested in? Is that something you could do?
Yes, like I said, our bread and butter is mixing and mastering, but we do offer commission-based work, composition stuff. I would direct you to SoundMonk Studios where you can get in touch with us.
Absolutely.
We do have our flat rates and kind of breakdown for mixing and mastering, like I said, our bread and butter. But when it comes to other processes along the chain, recording local artists, sync, licensing, putting stuff to visual, making jingles for a specific commercial, radio edits, stuff like that, we can do that and we can offer that if it's what you're seeking. Like I said, reach out on soundmonkstudios.com and get in contact with us, and we can begin a dialogue to see if we are a good fit for each other and we can achieve what we want. But yeah, just because we are mixing and mastering mainly does not mean we are unfamiliar with the other processes of the music production process.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this service that really provides very custom project for your clients. And I guess, if you would be willing to share, can you tell me a little bit about like an achievement you've had so far as a success story?
Yeah, I think the greatest achievement that's felt the most real has been graduating Crass and fulfilling an internship and getting hired on in LA. Prior to attending the engineering school, it felt much more like a hobby and a dream type job.
Yeah.
Going to Crass and meeting people who had been in the industry, cut albums with famous bands, people, professors who had Grammys. It was like, wow, these are real people who have gone out into the world and made it. And they had a dream no different than mine or similar, and they've been able to monetize, make a living, have a family, and continue to grow their careers. So for me, the greatest thing and achievement I think was finishing with flying colors, getting to LA, having a internship, and getting hired on, and realizing that the reality and the tangibility of the situation I was in was far greater than I could have ever imagined. So that would have to be the biggest strength or the biggest achievement that
Yeah,
I think I've felt along the way for the realness of all of this.
absolutely.
And it feeds into everything else though, but it does feel like a before and after type experience.
Oh, I can only imagine, right? Like I'm sure it crystallized so many things for you, and then you have these, great role models, these great mentors with so much experience that you can really carry with you. I mean, and working on, like Hollywood style projects, that's a big deal, and that's quite a standard, uh, to be able to perform and then to be able to offer burgeoning artists or to offer other clients. I think that's a really, really valuable thing. It's a very valuable service.
So Soundmonk Studios is still in its infancy, but the passion and the momentum is there. So at this point, we're building out our clients and trying to just continue to build a client roster, work with artists who are in need, and we can offer services. Like I said, it's our goal to just assist, really. So the more we can help other artists finish their projects, finish those songs that are just sitting on their laptops, or the recorded stuff that if I only had this, or if I only had a couple $100, if I only had this piece of gear or that, like we can offer affordably a place to get you going. So for the future, we want to be able to continue to help become more impactful in the community, get our name out there and help on projects, watch other artists rise and succeed as well, but learn and grow at the same time. As I've mentioned, my history is varied and has themes of music and audio and film, but this is kind of a Frankenstein of it all. So it's a daily growing and learning, and nothing's off limits. But there are like standards and definitely protocols we want to adhere to. But for the future, I think it's to grow, have fun, and to connect and keep growing the SoundMonk community. And if you're only here for a little bit while we work and then you move on and do something else, that's great. Or if you're a returning client and like what we do, and so be it. But we just hope that the experience that you have is business satisfactory, but also sonically satisfactory as well. So yeah, moving forward to many more.
Awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
to many, many more.
Left me feeling high. Time to wake up. It's about that time.
Do you offer a recording space for artists, or do artists need to kind of come to you with their tracks already?
So right now we are mainly a remote mixing and mastering where you would send audio tracks, audio files. I would do it on my end and then send it back to you. To your other question of expanding, there is a dream one day of having a built out brick and mortar studio, having a live room, a control room, or even rehearsal space. And But for now, it's mainly remote. Like I said, reach out on soundmonkstudios.com if you're in the area locally.
Yeah.
We could definitely make something work. But for the mixing and mastering that is offered anywhere worldwide, it is remotely right now, with the hopes to expand and get ourselves in a position to offer more. But yeah, for now, we will help you mix and master what you need and get you where you need to go.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. And that's a very good thing to specify. No doubt. So I know we've dropped your website name a couple times, and it's definitely in the episode notes. So folks, go check there if you want to go and talk to Louie, hear more about SoundMonk Studios. But for those who want to learn more or maybe hear some more from SoundMonk Studios, where can they go?
Yeah, soundmonkstudios.com for sure. Also on Instagram, SoundMonk Studios is the handle. The website is probably the best stuff for services, projects, more about me, my background, and the mission and the goals of SoundMonk Studios. But keep up to date with everything. Like I said, we are still in the infancy, so things are a bit slower, but we're very much so well and alive and hoping to connect and work with y'all. So drop us a link, give us an email, give us a like, and hopefully we can get to work with you and get your music out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Louie, we're coming to the end of our time here in the studio. And so I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everyone who comes through these doors. What is one out of the many thing that you love about Tucson?
I like the horizonscape. That is to say, I like how big and blue the sky is and how flat the horizon line rests upon it. You go different places, there's trees, there's plants, but the desert is so special to me in the sense that you can get out into some places, the boonies are a higher point, and just look 360 and just look flat all around, some beautiful white. It almost looks picturesque. But some people have never seen that. And buildings, trees, mountains, there's something magical about just vast space and plain colors against another plane, and they almost look like cardboard cutouts sometimes because the lines and the edges are so clear and distinct. But that, I mean, besides the food and everything else cliche about Tucson, that's probably one of the coolest things when I think about home or the desert when I'm somewhere else. I'm just like, you guys don't have the sky. Maybe Texas, but like, something about this desert has this huge, just powerful presence.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, it's beautiful going up like Mount Lemmon or pretty much just any elevated space, and just the dry air and the wide open horizons are beautiful. And growing up in Arizona, for me, like, when I go visit like big cities or places out east where there's just tall trees and I like can't see that far, I get feeling a little claustrophobic.
It's different. It's against the natural grain of how you do things.
I just love a lot of sky.
Yep, me too. I'm with you.
Well, Louie, thank you so much for coming in the studio and talking about Sound Monk Studios and more about your business, more about your history, what you can provide people, and what your goals are.
Well, thank you, man. This was awesome. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome to help contribute to this, but also as a listener and now as an interviewee. But you're doing awesome work as well, and glad to see where you're headed as well. But thank you for having me on. This was awesome.
Of course. All right. Well, take care, folks.
Peace.
So, folks, I really hope that you've enjoyed your time here and hearing the interspersed samples of what Louie can make. So I hope this was a very sonically beautiful episode for you.
And that's a wrap for another episode of T-Lokes, your go-to podcast for uncovering the untold stories of Tucson's local businesses and nonprofits. A big thank you to our incredible listeners for joining us on this journey of connection and discovery.
A huge thank you to our guest today, Louie Sanders from Sound Monk Studios, for coming on the show today, telling us about his adventure, how he got started, what services he provides, how he helps artists, and also for sharing some unforgettable tracks, and not to mention, making the unforgettable T-Lokes theme. Thank you, Louie. Show them some love, and check out their links in the episode notes. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with Tucson's vibrant business scene, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is invaluable, and it helps us continue bringing you engaging conversations. As we wrap up, remember that T-Lokes isn't just a podcast, it's a community. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or our Discord channel and share your thoughts, suggestions, or even recommend a local business or nonprofit you'd like to see featured on the show. Thank you once again for being a part of the T-Lokes community. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep supporting the heartbeat of Tucson.
Toodaloo.